Hey everyone, Steve Gonzer, physical therapist with Run Smart Online. I want to talk to you guys about core strength because core is where it's at. And the problem with most people is that when they're working core strength, they're not really thinking about the proper way to do this. Hopefully I'm in the frame and I'm okay here. But this will be a quick video. If you want to learn more about core strength, go to tryrunsmart.com. I have a link in this post, and we actually have two programs that would be worthwhile trying. One is 60-second core, and the other is Basics Bootcamp. They're both found inside the Run Smart Training Center if you want some help with your core strength, glute strength, and things that'll help you running. So when we talk about core, what are we talking about? We're talking about everything pretty much from your shoulders to your pockets. Usually I talk about rib cage to pockets. And we're talking about a series and a group of muscles. We're talking about the front of your hip, the back of your hip. Your glutes are core muscles. Your abdominals, everyone thinks of as traditional core muscles. Your low back, your scapular, shoulder blade muscles are all important in running. And the real process and the real importance of your core is to stabilize your low back and your spine so that your joints around your spine, like your hips, your knees, and your feet, can propel you down the road as a runner. When you don't have great strength through your core, quote-unquote core, in this series of muscles, is what happens is your spine moves. So you go to push off, and your low back slides a little bit. When the low back slides, it allows you to lose the force that you're trying to produce to run, and it makes you slower. It causes your joints to go through excess range of motion, causes back pain, knee pain, all these different things. So we want to make sure that your core program is working on stability in your spine and through your hips so that you can generate force, you can generate speed in your running. Now, I'm just going to talk about planking quick because planking is a great way to build core strength and build that stability. You think about a sit-up. When people do sit-ups, they do these reaches and things. You're moving, you're doing some movement around your spine. And again, what we want to do is we want to focus on control and stability in your spine. Planks are a great way to do this. Eventually, we progress people off the ground into standing. Standing core is very difficult for a lot of people to get. Most of my patients, they talk about, I run because I'm not very coordinated, so I like to at least get them started and get some base strength on the ground through a planking system. Now, I'm going to show you what most people do, and I'm going to show you how to progress your planking program, so hang in there with me. This will be pretty quick. If you want more information, again, and want a core program for yourself, check out 60-second core Basics Bootcamp in the link in this post. So, prone plank or a plank on your tummy. This is, your standard plank. I want to just talk to you about, because this either gets butchered or people do it incorrectly. The way that most people do this incorrectly is they like to hover off the ground or they like to stick their ass in the air. So we want to make sure that you have a nice clean line from your shoulder through your hip and through your ankle. And by keeping a nice straight line and not sagging, if you're sagging, you're putting a lot of strain on your low back. If you're up in the air, you're making it too easy and you're not really firing your core muscles. So you want that good, tight position to start. Here's a little a tip for you. One of the best ways to know if you're in the right position is to take your phone, put it on selfie cam so you can see yourself, and then just stack it up and you can actually look at your phone as a mirror and see what your alignment's like. Traditionally with planks, most people like to do the front plank. I'm going to talk about side plank in a minute. Once you get good, like a lot of people are like, oh, I can hold this position for 3 minutes. I don't really care. Generally what we find and what I encourage all my runners to do is once you can hold this for 1 minute, you want to start making it dynamic and harder through making it dynamic. So instead of holding like, oh, I can hold this for 3 minutes, what you want to start doing next is leg lifts. I don't know if I'm in the frame, but I'm lifting my left leg, maintaining that position, maintaining the other leg off the ground. As soon as you start lifting the leg, you cause a pivot point, and the stability in your low back gets harder, which will translate better for running as well. So we go from here. You can also go to upper arm reaches, making sure that once we reach, we don't have like this big motion through our body because we want stability. We want nothing to move. So you get out there and hold that way. Now, traditionally, I see people do planks pretty well on their front, but they tend to skip the most important part, which is really, as a runner, you want to work on the sides of your core, low back, and your hips to have the maximum benefit of running. So if you're a runner who only does a front plank, I would actually encourage you to, if you're going to pick one, skip the front plank and do a side plank instead. Better glute activation, better core activation, and it's going to help be a little bit more beneficial for you as a runner. So here's what I recommend. Here's the easiest level, going right up onto a knee here. You can take that hand up, you can do here, you can do jazz hands, whatever you want to do. If you want to progress it from here, you want to make sure you're nice and strong. You can do leg lifts. You can hold the leg out. You can just hold like a little clamshell from here. And what you're going to start doing is you're going to start firing that downside really well and start bringing the strength to a key muscle group that's good for injury prevention. You want to make it harder. You can obviously go here, hand up, hand on the hip, or jazz hands, whatever you prefer, and you can hold from here. Once you start to get to the point where you can hold a side plank for 1 minute, then we start going dynamic. We start to go to marching. You can start to go to side leg raises. We want to make sure we're not up high and we're not sagging down low. But this position of keeping a straight line from your nose, through your chest, through your feet and pelvis, all the way down, that alignment is really important. Again, the goal here is to stabilize, is to prevent your spine from moving, because when that spine starts to move and it's not intended, because it's weak, or the muscles around it are weak, you lose speed. You increase your risk for injury. All these things start to happen. If you want some help with your core strength, check out the 60-second core program or my basics boot camp, which is included in the link above or in this post. You can also just go to tryrunsmart.com. I got to get on this treadmill before I pick up my kids, so I'm going to go do that now. I hope this was helpful for you. Don't let your side planks, don't skip them. Don't skip them. That's what I'm about to say. All right, thanks, guys.